r/ask Reddit. What common problem have you never experienced? Not sure if it's exactly common, but I haven't broken any bones yet. Everyone in my family and a bunch of my friends have broken at least one bone in their body, but at the ripe age of 24 I still have all my limbs intact. 35 here. I've broken one bone, my nose. The thing is, I've broken it 7 times. My man, are you a big fighter or just an unlucky guy? He didn't learn his lesson the first 6 times. Me neither. It actually started worrying me recently that when my time comes to break a bone it'll hurt way worse because I didn't get it out of the way when I was a kid. I'm not sure these things actually work like that, but it still disconcerts me. Whatever the hell it is they struggle with in infomercials. I read once that most of those products are designed for people with disabilities. If you imagine someone with severe impairments trying to use those products, they make a lot more sense. Yep, designed for people with disabilities but need to be marketed to Gen Pop for money. I never had the talk with my mom. I kinda just figured it out. Wait, I assume the talk is still a big thing, right? My mom gave me a book, I'm a Dude. It was informational. Not a lot about sex, but it outlined the parts of both sexes. You could kinda guess how they worked, lol. What's happening to my body? A book for boys was very informative. Also had sketches of nude girls for anatomical comparisons, and as such, became my first wank book. I've never worried about where my next meal is coming from. I envy you. I haven't been food insecure for a long time but the repercussions still echo. Do you overshop? I think that is how mine comes out. I just don't like to be out of anything, so I buy more than I need, especially if it is on sale. Yes, especially with my favorite things. I tend to have an open jar and a backup jar. We have 2 fridges. It's ridiculous. If meat, cheese, or butter is on sale, then I'll buy in bulk and freeze them. That's just good shopping sense, but my household is me and my husband. We really don't need 10 pounds of hamburger at a time. I won't buy the cheapest version of a thing anymore just because it's cheap, but if it's something I can't tell a taste or performance difference with, generic it is. Again, sensible. But my hubby will grab the brands he's used to without looking at the prices. He had a similar cultural but more comfortable childhood than I did. He hardly eats leftovers, either. And it drives me nuts because he wants to cook something new all the time. Not to mention half the time I don't like it because he is a foodie and I'm used to very little seasoning. I still prefer most things plain and veggies boiled to mush. Old habits die hard. I never smoked. Not even tried. Not even wanted to try once. Yep, never really appealed to me. All my friends smoked as teens, but I never had much of a desire to. Can't afford to pick up the habit, I would tell them. Not that you should need to explain yourself, but that was usually a pretty good excuse if anyone is ever feeling pestered. Growing up, my dad always told me about how he used to smoke for 15 years and explained how bad of an addiction it is. At school they told me the same story. Smoking is bad. It will make you feel miserable and all that. Some of my older friends who smoked also told me never to pick up the habit, so I listened. Even though yes, I do understand the appeal. I just consciously decided to stay away from it because I don't want to be that guy with self-induced lung cancer. I get the appeal of drinking alcohol, even smoking weed, but it baffles me why anyone would even start with tobacco. Well, for me at least, it was because I found myself lacking my usual smokes, weed, so I figured I'd pick up a pack of cigarettes as a bit of a placebo. It worked as I hoped, and then after I was able to get more weed I discovered that the nicotine buzz goes quite nicely with the weed high. Now 3 years later I'm an infrequent cigarette smoker, less than a pack month. I've never felt addicted. Hell, I've gone months between cigarettes before. But sometimes I just really want that calming effect from the nicotine. I'm not sure how many other weed smokers will agree with me, but I find it to be a passable placeholder for the times when I feel like I just need to go have a moment to myself. Having to pull an all-nighter to finish an assignment or study for an exam. Reads this after just pulling an all-nighter a day ago. Reads this whilst pulling an all-nighter. I've learned that the key to avoiding pulling all-nighters is to work on your assignments a little bit each day. It sounds stupidly simple, but I've learned to do this to deal with the insane amount of work I have in graduate school. Falling asleep and dropping my phone on my face. I'm more of a lay on my side redditor. Yeah, I don't want gorilla arms, so I just lay on my side and angle it appropriately on the side of the other pillow. Nobody ever have tried robbing me. You see, I'm Brazilian, and literally every person I know has been robbed, got close to being robbed at least once. Look down and see if you're the one holding a knife. And then you look up and the guy in front of you is holding a pistol. Hello there, upper middle class fellow who goes everywhere by car and don't need a bus. Don't go outside too much. Don't walk around rather drunk on carnival and always goes with a group of people and don't stay out too late. I am you, too, but once I loitered around for way too long outside, sitting in my car waiting someone, and got robbed at gunpoint. Whoops. Racism. I'm Hispanic and it seems like everyone has a story of how they got discriminated against. I've never had that problem. Even worked with a supervisor who was known to be racist and never had any trouble from him. Even had some good times with him and got along pretty well with him. Disclaimer. I'm not denying that it's an issue or that it is real. Same for me with sexism. I'm a woman in a STEM PhD program. And it seems like all the other women I know have so many stories of people telling them girls can't do math or colleagues not giving their opinions weight and only paying attention to the men in the room. These are close friends who are not remotely the type to exaggerate their experiences with this, so I completely believe them. But at the same time literally nothing of this sort has ever happened to me. My parents and teachers treated it as perfectly natural that I would be interested in math and science as a kid, and I have never noticed any difference in the way I was treated compared to men at work. I guess I have just been lucky. I'm the same, specifically about sexual harassment. One of the things about me I'm most ashamed of is that this fact makes me feel kind of insecure, especially with this Me Too campaign running around. But even before that I'd hear stories from all sorts of different people about relentless catcalling and groping and lewd comments, and it's just never happened to me. Maybe I'm just too ugly. I'm sure that's not it. I don't see that much catcalling. But when I have, it hasn't seemed to be directly related to the attractiveness of the woman. Maybe you give off an air of confidence so people don't direct it at you. Or maybe you blend in with people around you so you don't stand out in a crowd. Or maybe it's just the law of averages and your number hasn't come up. I wouldn't feel bad about yourself for not being harassed. Just try to be thankful and not assume it has anything to do with how you look. Dong in zipper. Still don't understand how it happens. Same, but I also don't have a dong. I've never been in a relationship. Same, I'm 19 and not really worried about it though. 27 here, you start to wonder if it's ever going to happen. 38 here, at this point I'm curious if I'd even be capable of liking a relationship. I imagine there's perks, but it would be so different to how I've lived my entire life that it would be a tremendous adjustment. I have never been stung by a bee. You've literally missed nothing. It's roughly equivalent to getting a bit of glass in your skin followed by something a bit like a fire ant bite. Getting nailed by an angry hornet is a whole different ballgame. I once had a bee sting me on my tongue and let me tell you, it was a lot more painful than that. Can confirm, was stung at the back of the throat. That was also the day I found out I had my dad's allergy to bees. I've never had trouble with really bad shitting after eating Mexican or Indian food. People often talk about how it gives them distress, but it has never happened to me. I think a huge percentage of Reddit have undiagnosed vibes. I think a huge portion of Reddit has not eaten a green vegetable since they were 9 and their moms wouldn't let them play their GameCubes until they choked down that last piece of broccoli. Have never had a toothache or need for a filling. I envy you. Student debt. I am fortunate enough my parents planned ahead and had a college savings plan for me. I will graduate next month with $0 owed, and over the years seeing my friends rack up $75,000 plus has motivated me because I am very lucky for this opportunity. When you have the money, you should give them a nice romantic weekend as a thank you. I'm sure they would appreciate it. Same, I don't have student debt. But it's because the financial aid system actually worked for me somehow. My parents gave me $800 when I left for college and the rest was up to me. I somehow figured out, between financial aid and working, how to graduate without any loans. I did rack up $700 on my credit card, but I paid that off relatively quick. Having my heart broken. I'm almost 28 and it's become one of my biggest fears. I've dated a ton but never really cared about anyone enough until a few years ago. It's so unrealistic to think it will never happen to me, and every now and then I'll look over at my so and start panicking inside. My first was at 37. It was horrendous. Worse than you can imagine. I thought people friends overreacted over the years when they were broken up with, or TV and movies. I always thought they were being silly and exaggerating. It's been 2 years and I still haven't fully recovered, despite my new relationship that I've been in for almost a year. I hope you never experience it. I'm sorry to hear that. My boyfriend had his heart broken by his ex out of nowhere not long before he met me. He came home from work one night and everything was gone. They had just up and left without a word. I know it still hurts him no matter how happy we might make each other, but I can also see a steady recovery. Congratulations on your new relationship and happy upcoming anniversary. I sincerely hope it is long lasting and that you continue to heal. I've never had a UTI. If you're a guy, you're less likely to get a UTI because your urethra is longer than a woman's urethra, so bacteria is less likely to reach your bladder and cause problems. If you're a woman, I hate you. Haters gonna hate. I've never seen the wolf cry to the full corn moon, or asked the grinning bobcat why he grins. Surely you've sang with all the voices of the mountains? I've never had a hangover, and I'm not a teetotaler either, not that there's anything wrong with being one. Apparently, I've just never drank enough in one sitting to experience any negative after effects. I'm a woman but never had a guy telling me to smile on the street or similar. I mean, I'm sure it happens, but it just legit never has to me. This is funny to me because I am the only young male working under all older females and I have this problem. I have no idea where people get the idea that they can tell others how to hold their face. As a female, being catcalled or verbally harassed in a sexual manner by any male at any point in my life. As I got older I kept hearing women complain about being unable to walk down the street without guys whistling or hollering at them. I'd think, well that's definitely never happened to me. Weird. I wonder why. Oh, wait. Looks in mirror, that's right. I'm not hot or sexy. Part of me is grateful, but the other part often wonders how ugly I must really be to not even get a hey girl. My husband's a good man. Hey girl. Stubbing my pinky toe. I hear it's the worst pain next to stepping on a Lego brick, which I have done that. You're not missing much. It's just a really intense crushing pain concentrated in one tiny corner of your body. Lasts for as long as any other toe stub in my experience. I just stubbed mine a couple months ago and my toenail is now black. I was convinced I broke the toe because the pain lasted about 6 hours and I could barely walk. Black Friday. I've never desired to go through that. I don't understand the materialistic greed. And if you can't afford something one day, then I don't see the excuse for pouring in so much emotion and energy into a day you might not get what you want. And we've seen the real breakdowns online. Never seen it in real life. Probably entertaining, but I feel for the employees. Not being able to find a boyfriend. As a straight man this sounds pretty, but thing is I get hit on by more men than women, so if I was looking it wouldn't be an issue. You've never had a boyfriend who looked like a girlfriend that I had in February of last year. Rude movie patrons. The worst was when I saw Goodbye. Christopher Robin and I had a couple of chatty old ladies behind me. I actually enjoyed their commentary and it lent the film a Mystery Science Theater 3000 feel. For the record, they found the narrative confusing due to some flashbacks and also decried the AA. Milne and his wife as unlikable. But the whole wailing babies and teenagers texting that Reddit always bemoans is something I have yet to experience. I've never been fired from a job. I've been working in the same place since I was a teenager. It's my dad's business, and I'm set to take it over one day. It's just a small retail place, but I enjoy it. Well, I mean, I hope your dad wouldn't fire you, but that's a little different than working a bunch of other jobs with non-relatives. I never had a dream that I was falling. Brain freeze. Never had it before, and I eat a lot of food that triggers it. Sleeping without a roof over my head. Not being able to immediately get food or water whenever I want it. I've never experienced sexism. At least not the obvious in your face kind. If you browse the Ask Women sub, you're almost guaranteed to see a "how have you experienced sexism today?" thread, or at least something of that nature. I honestly cannot recall anything like that ever happening to me. I work as an electrician, which is a very male-dominated field, as is just about any other trade, and some of the guys I work with are old school types who come from an era where female electricians were extraordinarily rare. I don't get treated any different. I don't get treated like a moron. I've never had my ass smacked or felt objectified in any way. I'm just another person who works there that just happens to be a woman. While I won't deny that sexism is a thing, it doesn't appear to be anywhere as common as people like to make it seem. Needing to buy condoms. Because your dad works at a condom factory, denial can be fun. I've never gotten a Charlie horse, coating cavities, or needed braces. Basically, I've always been internally fit as duck my whole life. But don't worry, my skin is a mess and I'm the most nearsighted person I know besides my mom. Stage fright. I absolutely love performing, and whether it's been piano recitals in middle or high school or improv performances in college, I really never panic. Sure, I get some anticipatory excitement, but that's really the extent of it. The stage is magical. Heartburn. I hear people talk about it and I feel like I kind of understand what it might feel like, but I've never had it. Whoa, you made it to the end? You're a ducking beast. I'll cut you a deal. Smash like and subscribe for more curated content, bruh. It's free and that's a great price.